Welcome back to the Playbook by Charlie. Thank you so much for being here again. Please hit that like, subscribe, share. And if you are new here, thank you. You are in the right spot. So today's guest is a DJ and music producer based out of Los Angeles. We're going to talk about how he's been honing his skills behind the scenes, so now he gets to play in front of hundreds at different clubs and venues. We're going to be talking about the craft and the grind needed to build a successful career in music. Okay, Too Jiggy, welcome to the Playbook.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for being here. So before we get started, I got to ask you a question. If you had to teach a class on cooking, dancing, or singing, which one would it be?
I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with dancing and cooking. I love to sing, but I can't sing like that, you feel me? But I would love to, I love to cook, I love to dance and make people move. So those are definitely things I would love to teach if, you know, given the choice.
What would you cook?
Cook. I mean, even though I grew up in a mixed household, I'm really good at making some soul food, man.
Okay.
So fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, greens, barbecue baked beans. That's like my favorite, like absolute dish to make for like if I had the choice,
Mhm.
especially for like the family and stuff like that. So I could get down in the kitchen.
Cool, man. Awesome. Well, a man of very many talents, producer, DJ, and somebody that loves to cook. So let's get started on how you got started. As far as your name, now I want to start with the name Too Jiggy. How did you come up with that?
Um, well, I've had a lot of nicknames over the years. When I was younger, I used to do like impersonations or like dancing like Michael Jackson. That was like one of my idols and a lot of people's idols back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had the nickname Jiggy as a child for a little bit. And then until I started playing sports and everything like that. And then I had other nicknames and everything like that. So getting into the music industry, trying to figure that out, I kind of reverted back to that nickname.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm too jiggy.
Awesome. So take me through um, when did it click for you, basically? Like, we all have that moment of when we're just kind of messing around with music, whether it's singing, dancing, whatever it is, but then you go from basically just messing around to a hobby to making it to a career. When did it kind of click for you?
I would say March or February of 2023 or 2024. Um, of course, it was a hobby at first. I started off with R&B and hip hop. That's my love. That's what I grew up on. And yeah, I found my way going to a festival for the first time, found house music, and I started implementing that into my DJing. And then yeah, man, just once I started going that route, people started to vibe and really connect with me on that level. And I had a lot of support on that side to continue pursuing that. And now I'm making house music now and trying to make everybody dance and groove, man. Trying to make everybody feel good.
You
So
have a very unique style because you have a way, and I think this comes from you starting off with R&B and hip hop. You have a way of blending those sounds
mhm.
into house music, which creates a nice blend. Is that something that you kind of just, or what made you go down the house music route instead of the standard R&B and hip hop route?
Well, top 40, I mean, I love top 40. You can't go wrong with, some early 2000s or some old school R&B, hip hop in the 90s. I don't know, man. It was just a feeling. I can't really describe it. It really, it really just, I guess, took over. That's the best way to put it. Um, I just got enveloped into the vibe and everything that came with house music, it just meshed well with everything. Um, I still I still love other parts of electronic dance music, but just the way you groove into house music, you could blend that so well with R&B and hip hop, and it just works well. I don't know. I can't really describe it. It's just a feeling, man.
No, I get that completely. It's when you're DJing, it's more of a feeling than anything else. When people think about DJing, or when people ask you, what's something that's misunderstood about the craft?
That it's easy. The one part learning about DJing, like transitions and phrases and stuff like that, you develop that skill over time. But
Yeah.
the misconception is trying to be authentic and original. You have to kind of speak to what you feel and what you respond to, and you got to understand that before you go out and into the world, because the scene is very saturated. I'm not going to lie, it's very hard to break into. Everybody's trying to do the same thing.
Yes.
So the best part is to find what speaks to you, and try to be as creative as possible. It's okay if it's weird, it's okay if it's different. That's what kind of separates you from everybody else. And I think I've been doing at least my due diligence to stay authentic and stay original, and try to be the best that I can be. So
I love that. Such good advice as far as being able to differentiate yourself from other individuals. Because you're right, there a lot of people are entering the house scene, and half of it is because it's becoming so popular now. Back when I feel like we were younger and in high school, when you heard a house music song or an EDM song, I didn't even know about EDM until I got way later on into college. So
same.
being able to differentiate yourself is so big now. What advice would you give to somebody as far as if they're playing house music and they're trying to find their feel for it? How would somebody find their sound?
You just have to experiment, man. The one thing for sure, whatever you like to play, whatever like you vibe with and connect with, you share that with the audience, man. And if that audience is you'll find your people. That not everybody's into house music, not everybody's into the same things you are, but the more you stay true to yourself, the more you find those people that connect with you. And I think that connection is a very big and important part in the scene. Being genuine, authentic to yourself, and yeah, just that connection, man. It's very important.
Makes sense. You don't want to go to a R&B and hip hop, club and try to play drum and bass or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
definitely not. I mean,
that.
you might find some people that be like, "Oh, I rock with that," but I mean, you gotta cater to your
Yeah.
crowd, man.
Yeah. You're gonna find that one dude in the back who's kind of bobbing his
Yeah.
head.
But that's another thing too, though, man. You want to make sure that you place yourself in those spaces that you want to be in. So
Mhm.
if you are a house DJ, or if you're a hip hop and R&B DJ, top 40, you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in those spaces. You're meeting and talking to those people that run those events. And the one thing that's important for sure, if you want to play at these events and you're trying to break out into the scene, you have to support the events that you want to play at.
Yeah.
That's you can't just message people and be like, oh, hey, I DJ and I want to play for you. No, a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of venues, they look for support. They want to see if you're really authentic and genuine about the vibe that you're trying to create. So
That makes sense. This is good. Since we're talking about, trying to stand out, finding different venues, supporting, how is important is it to play for the crowd that you're playing for, or to be as creative as you can? Is there a blend that you should play as far as maybe test certain things as you're playing, or if you're have at a house venue, then I would just stick to that. What would you suggest?
I would say when you're going into these spaces, you should always do your research of where you're playing first off. Second, I would say you need to have a certain level of crowd control. Like you have to make sure that you're able to read the crowd, see what's hitting for like the crowd that you're playing for. um, but in most cases, you want to play what speaks to you. Again, you don't want to be the DJ that pretty much tries to play everything that just people like. You want to be yourself as much as possible. And it's okay. Again, this is where putting yourself in the spaces that you want to play in and the vibe that you want to create, you have to make sure that you stay true to yourself and that's honestly be authentic to yourself. That's super key, man. Just being yourself and try not to be everybody else, like everybody else. And sometimes you're gonna have sets where people are not, rocking with, but
Mhm.
that's okay. That's a part of the learning process, man. You have to find that small blend of crowd control and being true to yourself. So
That makes sense. I want to pivot for a moment. Take me through what your day looked like to get from basically the bedroom to the club. How much time were you putting into music? How much time were you putting into practicing as far as your transitions? Walk me through it.
Well, at first, before I even tried to go out there and try to DJ for anybody,
Yeah.
making sure that I was on top of my craft. You When you get that first opportunity, man, it's going to be nerve wracking. You want to make sure you're on top of your game to the best of your ability. Um, you're going to get better over time. The more that you practice, the more that you learn, the more that you go through these sets. But if you're not really prepared for that first gig, I mean, if you're not really on top of just at least your transitions, then it's going to be challenging. It's going to be, a little embarrassing at first too, but it's okay. It's part of the process. But yeah, I was working before I got my first like actual gig where I was getting booked. It took me like a month and a half of like serious grind time to make sure that I was on top of like
Yeah.
what I wanted to become. And I'm still learning. It's a learning process every day, no matter where you are. But yeah, man, just working at least on your transitions, on your song selection is very important too. And yeah, yeah.
Can you be, let's be honest for a second. What was the most embarrassing moment for you while you were DJing? If you've had
Uh,
any.
there's been a lot. The first time I was in the middle of I think I was like 20 minutes into a set and I accidentally, because I was getting excited for the drop, I accidentally elbowed and pressed the pause or the play button. So it paused the music for a second. Everybody was like, oh, I looked around, pressed play again, and then the drop hit, and it just went, it just went good from there. But that moment, I was just like, oh, like I can't believe I just did that. But there's always moments where you have bad transitions or like you're not, beat matching properly. But it's a part of being human, man. People make mistakes. You see legends and pro DJs that make mistakes too. It's again, it's a part of life, man. You're not perfect. You might have some perfect sets in the future, but there's gonna be some of those moments where you're like, ah, shit, like I shouldn't have done that. But it's part of the process, man.
I totally agree. When you look at all the if you go to events and you go to festivals, you look at the DJs on the stage and they've had 10, 20, 30, sometimes 40 years of making mistakes to get to that point to where they're so comfortable out there, they're not making the same mistakes. So
Mm.
as somebody who's just starting out, you can't compare yourself to somebody who's been in the game for 40 years, who've been DJing since they were 12. The two
Yeah.
don't compare. So you got to give yourself grace, you got to give yourself time, and you just have to be patient and understand that the experience is going to play a huge factor in getting from point A to point B. To kind of touch on that point, what do you think the biggest difference is from somebody who is, let's say they're at the club level, okay, they're DJing at the club, and they want to get to the festival level. What is the difference in work needed to go from here? You've made it now. Somebody's made it out the bedroom. They're in the club. How do they get from the club to now the festival?
I mean, if you want, well, first off, I mean, networking is key. But the biggest thing that you have to do is making music. If you really want to break into the scene and get bigger than just the local level, you have to make music. And that's what I've been working on for, it's been a year now. Just working on the production aspect of DJing, definitely working on my craft and finding my sound. It might take years for some people. Some people are just, more talented, and there's always going to be someone that's more talented than you, and that's okay. Um, but they're, just making music and they find their sounds early. For me, I still feel like I'm finding my sound, but I am definitely making some great music now. And I'm really excited to share that in the future. So if you want to play festivals, if you want to play out of your local area, you definitely got to make music, man.
That's awesome. We'll be waiting for that new music. When it comes to music production, what is, in your opinion, do you think is the hardest part?
The hardest part is producing and having the patience. Patience, I'm learning patience as well. Again, like you work with so many people, you see other people move forward, and you can't compare yourself to those people. You just have to, follow your own process. And as long as you put in the work, you're gonna get there. So if you see people playing at festivals, if you see people releasing songs, or just it's clicking for them, the more you lock in, you're gonna find that too. So it's okay to have those moments of like just down moments or doubting yourself. It's as long as you stay true to yourself and you keep on putting the work, you're gonna get there. It took me a while for me to finally break through and make quality music. Um, but again, it's part of the process, man. It's
Yeah.
part of the process.
Totally agree. And I'm glad you went there because so much of our lives now are consumed with things that we see and people that we compare ourselves to,
Mhm.
whether it's, another DJ, whether it's another loan officer, they're closing 15 deals. Why aren't I closing 15 deals? Um, Take me through your mentality. Is there ever a time in where you were like, maybe this isn't for me? You know, how do you keep going through this process of becoming a DJ?
Um, One thing for sure, I've bounced through a lot of jobs, careers in my life, but
Mhm.
this really speaks to me. So there is no doubting myself when it comes to this, and I I know I'm not the best, but I am working to be the best that I can be, and that's all you can do. Um, when it comes to just having the mentality to keep going, it's you got to keep it fun, man. If you're not having fun, then it's why do it, you know? The biggest part for me that got me into this was making people happy, making people feel good about themselves on the dance floor. And that's what I want when I'm playing. That's what I want for people to feel when I release music. I want people to feel something, feel happiness. Even some of my songs are a little ratchet. So I mean, as long as everybody's dancing, having a good time, that's all I care about.
That's a great point because, we in times and we get so wrapped up in why aren't I where I'm supposed to be? I'm
Mhm.
putting in the work, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why can't I move forward? But a lot of times we just got to one, stick to the basics, have some patience.
I follow DJs that have been doing it for like 10 years, and they are barely breaking into the scene. So like when I meet these people and they tell me that, oh dude, you have so much time, even though like I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I don't have the time, but like I trust what they're telling me because they are seeing success later on and
Yeah.
just being able to create and just be true to themselves. And I think that's where the patience has been really been helping me because um yeah, I just see everybody moving forward, and I was moving forward but not as fast as I want to, but it's just you got to trust the process, man.
Yeah.
I know that everything that I've been doing, just meeting people, talking to people, being genuine, and also when I get home I spend like an hour or two at least like either producing music or I'm DJing, just to make sure that I'm on top of my game. And that's all you really have to do, man. Just kind of just keep your head down until your time comes. And trust me, as long as you put in the work, your time will come.
And kind of touch on what you said about the age factor. I do feel like the EDM scene is starting to get more of an older crowd anyway. So you're starting to see DJs DJing from the 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, and a lot of times I don't know which popular DJ it was. Maybe it was David Guetta, but they always bring up a number about he didn't start getting big until he was in his 30s or 40s. I forget the number, but
Get you?
it's kind
Yeah.
of like, we try to put a timeline on our success or where we feel like we should be in our lives, but in actuality, we just got, like you said, keep your head down, keep working, and things are going to happen when they happen. Okay, so I want to pivot for a second in regard to being black in a predominantly white industry. What are some challenges that you have gone through in breaking through the scene?
I think the biggest misconception, at least in the scene, that house music is not for Black people. Um, I hear that a lot, or like when I
Yep.
tell people that I do house music, they're like, "Oh, I thought you'd be a rapper, or I thought you work on hip hop, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?" And I get it, but man, you'd be surprised how many of our people love house music. There are
100%.
so many different companies and different artists that are Black that are just amazing. Like you have Noise in the Hood that are from LA that are a really good group. Shout out to my boy Brett, Jibo, Dina. Like you have so many good artists like MK. MK is a really,
Yeah.
really good Black artist. You have Carl Cox, who is a legend, Black
Legend.
Coffee. You know what I'm saying? There's so many of our people that are in these spaces that I hope in the future that I could help open our people's minds to house music.
Yeah.
And honestly, Skepta said it best himself. If you love R&B and hip hop, I mean, you're gonna love house music.
I
House
agree.
music is Black people music. You just got to be open to it, man. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think even some hip hop and I think the genre as far as dancehall has elements of house music in it that sometimes like we don't even, or our culture doesn't necessarily realize that they're listening to house music. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Um, there's also a company, not a company, a collective called Chocolate House.
Yeah.
They've been doing their thing for a minute. They have really good events, mostly Black spaces as well. If you go to one of their events, you'll be surprised of how Black it is, and just that house like space is just over the top. I love it. And yeah, you have these artists like Techno Tupac is a great example. You have upcoming artist named Jay Ivy who's starting to grow in the deep house scene. So
Yeah.
you have you have all these people, all of our people in the scene. We just we just need to come together and have more support on our side, and I think that's starting to happen a lot more, which is very nice to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's hey, Hey, my people, come to our side, man. I promise you, you'll love it as well. You don't have to leave that R&B and hip hop,
I
but I'm
agree.
just saying,
I agree. Support coming together, and I do totally agree with you as far as I do think that the scene is going to just get bigger for our culture because I think there's going to be more people that look like us are going to be, headlining festivals or that are on the lineup, and I think that's just going to make black people gravitate more toward house music and not even the EDM culture, but just towards going to those type of events.
yeah.
Because I almost feel like there you have now house music has gotten so big to where you have EDM events, or I mean, it's all the same, but then you have house music and it's almost like a completely different crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's definitely when I go to EDM events, it's definitely a younger crowd. uh, we're almost at unk status, but man, but man, but it's cool seeing, I guess, I mean, I haven't been in the scene long enough to be like, oh, the next generation, but it's really nice to see that, at least in these spaces that we're seeing a lot of the younger generation embrace, house music and having a great time with it. There's yeah, just a lot of love and a lot of openness when it comes to house music, and I think that is just amazing. So
We agree. A couple more questions. In regard to kind of to piggyback on this, on what we've been talking about, do you feel like you have to show up differently when it comes to trying to go DJ these certain events, talking to promoters, whether they look like us or not? Do you feel like you have to show up a little bit differently?
uh, at first, at the beginning, I did.
Um,
Um, I would say I felt like I was code switching a little bit at first at the beginning, but over time you realize just to be yourself, man. That's the only way that they see you for who you are. And yeah, just being yourself is like the biggest part in anything in life, man. Like why show up to a space being something that you're not or trying so hard to please other people? You just got to be yourself, man. Make sure you're genuine and kind. You don't want to be like, oh, hey, I DJ, give me a gig. You don't you don't want to do that. But yeah, man, I show up as myself a lot in any place I go. There'll be some times where I'm not gonna lie, I used to in the beginning try to be the main character, but now I'm very like, okay, if I don't need to be in that space, then
yeah.
I'm in the background. I don't need to be in other people's spaces or be a backstage baddie. Like I am there for the music and I'm there for the people. I just want to connect, man. So being yourself is the biggest key of anything in life, to be honest.
Love that. I'm a backstage baddie.
Hey, everybody wants to be a backstage baddie, but
Right,
it's I'm
right.
gonna be real. Unless, all right, I'm gonna put this out there. So unless you are a DJ, an actual artist, or these are your friends or family that are performing backstage, you don't need to be in that space. It's cool for a little bit, but it gets packed and it's you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
better on the dance floor. Trust me. You want to be on the dance floor experiencing the music. Um, Especially too if you're there for your friends and stuff like that.
yeah,
Support them by being in the crowd, man. It not only helps the dance floor and the vibe. We need that energy as artists that are playing. We
yeah.
need that support on the dance floor to not only energize the dance floor, but just support your
Yeah.
homies. That's the best way to do it. Unless you're directly like you about to pass a USB or a drink to the homie backstage, man, stay your butt on the dance floor, man. Just vibe out. I promise you're not missing anything. What you're seeing in the front is gonna be the same thing in the back.
There you go. Last question.
All right, what's going on?
What's the what's the biggest life lesson that you've learned?
There's never too late. It's never too late. Again, I'm at the big age of 34. I turned 35 this year.
Good.
I bounced off so many things, trying to find myself. Uh, I went from being an athlete to finding a job in marketing, which I did not like. Found that out quick that I am not meant to be in an office setting.
Yeah.
Started traveling, uh, found my, fell in love, got my heart broken. There's so many like other big life lessons where I felt lost,
Yeah.
and music found me. I didn't think that I would be a DJ. That was definitely not in my in my plans of life, but it found me, and I'm grateful for it. It's brought me so many connections. It's helped me meet the people I need to meet in my life. And I've been happy. I've been so happy that I found this career path, and it just keeps me going. And sometimes I would say that I wish I would have found this sooner, but I'm just glad it found me, period. Because there's a lot of people in life that struggle with, trying to find something that speaks to them.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, it's never too late to find something you love. It's never too late to find a passion. And you just gotta go for it, man. Take a risk. That's what I did. And it's paying off slowly, but it's picking up, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for every opportunity. I'm grateful for everybody I met. And I'm grateful for the people that I'm meeting along the way. It's a really great journey. It's never too late, man. Never too late. So buy that car.
Well,
Take that trip.
that was great. There you have it. That was great. Well, Too Jiggy, thank you.
Sure.
This was amazing. I learned something from this. I'm sure the people watching are definitely going to take something away from this. This was fantastic, man. Better than I imagined. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. This was fun. This was fun.
Awesome. Until next time. Thank you again.
Yes, sir. Stay jiggy.